So I've made my tea from my garden and I'm ready to answer some of your questions. The first question is, what are my favorite books, or do I have any recent recommendations? Now, I have a lot of favorite non-fiction books, including things like The Secret Life of Colors. My mind is drawing a blank, but I have a lot of favorite non-fiction books, so I'm gonna take this as a favorite, like, novels. And here is my list. My list is as follows: Del Toro Quest by Emily Rodda, The History of Love by Nicole Krauss, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, Dune by Frank Herbert, and I have a lot of feelings about the trailer for the new film because it looks like shit and it's one of my favorite books and everyone keeps fucking it up. Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami, Lost and Found by Brooke Davis, The Silver Sword by Ian Saralia, Nejma by Nayera Waheed, Salt by Nayera Waheed. Those two are actually not novels, but poetry books. Pomegranate Soup by Marsha Mehran, Damned by Chuck Palahniuk, Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi, Typewriter Music, which is also poetry, by David Malouf. So those are my faves. You can look on my Goodreads, which I always link down below, if you want to see more of my favorite books, including non-fiction, because there's a lot of art books and philosophy and like self-help kind of stuff that I read and really enjoy. I'm just about to start reading a book called Atomic Habits. I just finished one which is all about like you know, building good habits and like helping your brain, but I just finished one called The Art of Loving by Eric Fromm, and I think it was genius. I think it was genuinely brilliant. So I'm glad you've come to me for book recommendations because I read a lot. Also, who is your favorite philosopher if you have one? It's hard to say because most philosophers were really problematic. Like Greek philosophers, which is considered like the birthplace of philosophy, which is stupid because Asia had philosophers before the West ever even thought of existing, you know, Eurocentrism and all that. Greeks would sit on beaches and contemplate life while they would have their African slaves tilling in the fields. So kind of hard to sympathize or idolize or like look up to those people. Anyway, we get it, you have a tiny dick. We get it. Stop revving your car. My favorite three philosophers, if I had to pick, would be Montaigne, Sartre, and Descartes, which are all French, but also two people who I would add to my list of philosophers and weren't really philosophers but were poets are Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson, because I feel like poets are philosophers in disguise.
Hello, Editing Jesse here. I don't know how, but I completely forgot to actually name my two favorites. They weren't French, they were American. Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. Walden, all that. Hands down my favorites. They took a lot of ideas from East Asian philosophy and religion, but transcendentalism, self-reliance, that reconnecting with nature, absolutely my shit. The hardest cottagecore vibes.
How do you press flowers? Love your work, by the way. Thank you. I have filmed a little video on how to press flowers, so here it is. I will actually probably make like a proper video tutorial in the future, but here's like a little snippet for you. Here you go. Step 1, you need a massage book, preferably with demonstrations on somewhat nude models. Then you will need tissues, and in these tissues you will place the specimens. And you'll place the tissues over the top of the specimens, and you will press them. Alternatively, you can buy yourself a flower press. I've actually had more success using like good old books for pressing flowers, like even just like old exercise books that I never use. Like this is very old, simply because it was only used for pressing flowers. You can see it stained somewhat. So yeah, plain books are good as well. Otherwise you could, and with that you don't have to put tissues. With this you can use tissues. It's not really that much of a complicated process. It's more just how long it takes. But if you're patient, everything will work out fine. Who is an artist that never disappoints? This is kind of like the philosophy question. Like, people, like, humans are disappointing. Like, it's part of being human. And not every work someone makes is a masterpiece, like, let alone good. And that's okay, like, obviously. But if I had to pick an artist that I think has constantly impressed me, William Kentridge. I think my favorite thing about him is all of his work is like so in-depth and creative in all the ways that I enjoy making work. So it's nice seeing someone else who operates in the same way I do. But also he doesn't shy away from being political. And all art is political. Here's the thing though. When it fits the status quo, when it doesn't question the norm, you don't notice that it's political. It's like, oh, that recent trend of like people drawing anime characters or cartoon characters as black, and people are like, oh, why are you blackwashing? And it's like, blackwashing isn't a thing. Artists who only draw black people get questioned, why are you only drawing black people? You'll never see someone who only draws white people get questioned, why do you only draw white people? So it's this kind of weird dichotomy, shift tension kind of thing. And if you don't think art is political, grow up. Kentridge has always made art about the evils that white people have like spread throughout Africa, specifically South Africa, which is where he's from. He does it in ways that I think don't overstep boundaries. He doesn't tell a story of the South Africans, like the native South Africans, like the black people that live in that country, that are from that country, not the like colonizers, because he is technically a colonizer. He never tries to tell their story. He shows the picture holistically, and I think he does a brilliant job. And just the way he draws, his like stop motion animations, his paintings, like all the collage work and the messy charcoal drawings and the paintings, and just like everything is just larger than life and like is so complex in meaning and concept, and just like there's so many layers, man. There's so many layers. I love it. I just love it. Most uncomfortable school experience. Either when my best friend pushed me down a flight of stairs, or when a guy I was dating convinced me, like gaslighted me into thinking that we were never dating, despite everyone at school knowing that he was the one obsessed with me. Hard to pick. Hi, this question isn't about art, but what do you think about all of the wildlife being harmed in West Coast fires caused through arson? Some of the arsonists arrested are associated with the Black Lives Matter movement. Justice for all, but why did they have to torture a raccoon in New York City? Alright, I wasn't gonna answer this, but I changed my mind. So, number 1, stop assuming everyone is American. Number 2, I'm Australian. And if you didn't know, we had fires that ravaged the entire country and we lost literally millions of acres and millions of animals. So, I think I have a pretty good idea of what that would feel like. 3, God, you're stupid. But 4, you do realize it was a gender reveal party that caused the fires, right? It was a cishet couple announcing loudly, "Our child will have a penis." That's literally what started the fires. If you think otherwise, please learn some facts. But here's the problem with these kinds of people. I'm gonna quote Leo Tolstoy here. "The most difficult subjects can be explained to the most slow-witted man if he has not formed an idea of them already. But the simplest thing cannot be made clear to the most intelligent man if he is firmly persuaded that he knows already without a shadow of a doubt what is laid before him." 2 things are at play with these kinds of people who are genuinely convinced that Donald Trump is their king, because I checked this person's profile and he literally had Donald Trump is my king as his header. Confirmation bias and cognitive dissonance. Confirmation bias is just what I explained, that Leo Tolstoy quote. And cognitive dissonance, here's a little quote for you, is when a person holds contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values, and is typically experiences psychological stress when they participate in an action that goes against one or more of them. According to this theory, when 2 actions or ideas are not psychologically consistent with each other, people do all in their power to change them until they become consistent. The discomfort is triggered by the person's belief clashing with new information perceived, wherein they try to find a way to resolve all the contradiction to reduce their discomfort. Long story short, doesn't matter how many facts you will give these people, they will not accept them because what they believe is more important. The more facts you give them, the more they will twist reality to fit what they believe because it makes them uncomfortable to think that they are wrong. So, who the fuck was torturing a raccoon in New York City? What? Okay, dude. Thanks for the engagement. I guess. Alright, last question. Favorite plant? This one is tough. The first thing that came to my head was the bauhinia tree, also known as the Hong Kong orchid. And it has beautiful purple and red, purplish red. I think the color is called pink. It has beautifully colored flowers. It has leaves that look like little apples. And I just love them so much. But I also love jasmine. It can grow into like this beautiful hedge and the flowers are so sweet smelling. But also I love orange trees because orange juice and oranges are delicious, and I had an orange tree in my backyard as a kid and I used to love climbing it and looking over the neighborhood, and the flowers smell really nice and there's always bees. Man, I can't pick. Ivy, I really love ivy. I love plants so much. Anyway, thank you for coming to this video and watching my little Q&A. I'm glad I got a decent amount of questions. I'm very pleased. I love my little community. I want it to grow so I can have more people to chat with and more people to share with and more people to share with me. If you watched my old videos, you would know I had a sock of the day. But I'm currently not wearing cool socks because I'm always at home and I'm just wearing my normal socks. But I am going to be doing a song of the day, quote of the day, and book of the day. Or not necessarily book of the day, but like what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, that kind of thing. So, what I'm reading right now is this. A Wild Sheep Chase by Haruki Murakami. William Goldman in The Princess Bride, which I read last year, has this quote that I absolutely love. It says, "Her heart was a secret garden and the walls were very high." And I think it's really cute and sad. The song I've been listening to a lot recently, it's not really a song, it's a whole album. Haley Blazer's new album, Below the Salt, is so comforting. Please listen to it. Please listen to it. It's very comfy and cozy and warm and just, it's all the right vibes. This music will comfort your soul. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please do like it because it lets me know that people are enjoying it, or leave a comment as well. That would be really nice. If you have more questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you have ideas for something you want to see me do, like art challenges or just like little things, if you want me to make tutorials on anything you've ever seen me do, please go ahead and let me know. I would love to build a small community for myself because I feel isolated usually, but now more than ever. So it'll be good. It'll be good for everyone involved, I think. But yeah, bye-bye. Did I just say bye-bye? How old am I? Oh. This tea is really good. I'm genuinely surprised. I was like, I'm just gonna pick stuff that I know makes good tea, but maybe not necessarily together, and it works really well. I did take a little bit of the rosemary out because I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm drinking an Italian restaurant's dishwater, you know? I'm really sorry about this construction noise. It's been going on for 3 years. We are all losing our minds.